Welcome to the first all-shotgun World Cup this year, 2025. We're in beautiful and hot, you might say, Cyprus in Nicosia for the first ISSF World Cup all-shotgun. 2 days ago, we wrapped up the skeet event part of this World Cup. Some amazing finals were shot under the hot sun here in Cyprus, as our announcer Jamie Stangram likes to say. It's getting hotter by the day. The tourist season has long begun here in Cyprus, known for its beautiful beaches, wonderful cuisine, and, well, hot weather. It's not really that windy today. In the beginning, in the morning it wasn't, but now it's really getting to it. We're coming to you live from two trap finals today. We're broadcasting on the ISSF official YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. And with me here today, I have Nathan Hales, the Olympic champion of Paris. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for being here and well, commenting on the finals with us. I'm really interested to see what's going to be coming from you in this hot seat over here. Unfortunately, not in the finals today, but how was it shooting your first World Cup this year and opening up the season?
Yeah, it was great to be back. You know, you always miss it when you're away, so it's great to be back in such good conditions and high scoring. It's a very high scoring event, so that's always good to gauge where you're at for the start of the season.
It really is. I think we're going to have a few shoot-offs. I haven't checked yet. The men were still shooting as we were getting ready for this women's finals, but this is your third time in the Nicosia.
It is, yeah. Slightly different weather conditions to last time we was here. I think in 2022 it was absolutely horrendous wind and rain, so it's nice to be back in the sun.
Absolutely. And while you're shooting the qualification, at least you have a little bit of the shade, but once we get here in the final range, you really have to put some sunscreen on and get ready for this. The wind is crazy. These are the event details over here. We have the 12-gauge shotgun, and as far as I know, every athlete likes to kind of customize it for themselves. What have you done with your shotgun?
So I've actually just changed shotgun for this season, so I'm now shooting the new Beretta SL2.
Oh, okay.
Which is good. I really like the gun. That's the first big event for me, so I finished 120, which didn't make the final, but I'm happy enough for my first competition with the new gun. So what I've done to my gun, obviously a custom stock, and most of us have a custom stock, so that's really the only, everything's bog standard apart from the custom stock, so that's really what most of us change. Some people put multi-chokes in the gun or add some weight here and there to get it to exactly balance how they like it, but yeah, for me it's just pretty much standard with just a custom stock. So
okay, that's great to hear. And how much time do you think getting into it, like when you're shooting with a new shotgun?
It can really depend on the person. Some people manage to change very easy. Quite often the change is made harder mentally than physically. Changing the gun can really be hard mentally, especially when you're used to something. Quite often we don't change for a long time, so to change after a long time to something new can be mentally tough.
All right, and actually we're going to jump over a bit to Jamie Stangram on the field of play. We're going to see a bit of the atmosphere here today after we see all the coaches over here behind the athletes that are still in test fire. They're going to do some test fire. What do you think doing this in the beginning, how important is it for you guys?
I mean, it's not a massive deal. I think it's more of just to check your gun works. Nothing's, your safety catch hasn't come on or anything like that. Because if you've got the safety come on or you've got a fault with the gun, you get 3 minutes for a fault. And if your safety's off, then well, it's a missed target straight away before you've shot. So it's more of just to satisfy that, I believe.
All right, we have some names on the world ranking over here. At the top, we have Turkish Pelin Kaya. We saw the 6 names that are going to be in the finals, but we're going to get to them as we go into the presentation a bit later. Test fire is absolutely one of the things these athletes have to go through, as well, you wouldn't want your first target to fly out and you not being ready, I guess.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
All right, so we're going to jump to Jamie Stangram on the field of play to give a bit of the atmosphere here today. Jamie, how's it going?
Martina, thank you, Nathan, as well. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cyprus Olympic shooting range here in Nicosia. This is the field of play where the stage is set for traps finals day. We've got the women's final coming up first, followed by the men's. The men's will start at 5 p.m. And really, it's a hive of activity here. We've got the athletes in their final preparation for the final to get started. The seats are filling up with spectators here in Cyprus. And Martina, you mentioned the weather. The wind has really picked up here big time. It's been 2 long days of qualification, 150 targets under hot, sticky Cyprus sun. But as forecast, the winds have picked up just in time for the finals here today, which we had for the skeet finals every day, in fact, for qualifying. So they were very used to the challenge that the wind here in Cyprus has brought, as is my hair now, also very used to this challenging wind. And just in time for this finals, the 6 athletes will have to combat the wind as well as the tension of the sunshine and the spectators here and the live television cameras. So Martina, we are just a few moments away from getting started here. I'll hand back to you because I'm going to be introducing the 6 athletes to the spectators here in Nicosia and to you at home in just a few moments.
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, the presentation is about to start. You could have seen the wind is really crazy over here today, but welcome in wherever you're watching from. We hope you're ready for the first final of the day, the women's trap event. Once again, ladies breaking the ice just like in skeet. And 2 big shotgun ranges here in Cyprus. We're at the Nicosia Olympic Shooting Complex for this World Cup. My name is Martina Lucic and I will be your commentator. And here today, once again, joining us, Nathan Hales. Thank you one more time for being here. I'm really, really interested to see the perspective, to hear the perspective of the Olympic champion here at the World Cup today. So you had 2 days of qualification as opposed to skeet. They had 3 days. Was it a bit of a harder tempo?
Yeah, for sure. Over the 3 days, over 2 days, it was very tough. We've had very long days. I was the last squad out actually on this finals range yesterday, and I think we went out just before 7 o'clock. So the light was really tough. There was a big shadow over the exit of the targets, which made picking the targets up very hard. You know, they're pretty quick anyway without big shadows and stuff covering the exits. I
can imagine, and well, I think that might even happen today in the men's finals, as it's starting a bit late, 5:30. It can go off until 7, so I think we're gonna be watching the sunset today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see the sun come round, and you know it starts to come in the left-hand side of the layout here, so it can make the left-hand target look slightly black, as well as then having a shadow. So it can be challenging. It can be challenging. Definitely
not helpful for trying to shoot it and find it in the sky. So, okay, we can go over the rules before the athletes come out. We're starting with 25 targets, which is a usual round in qualification. And this is a part where the athletes kind of get to set the tone for their finals. After that, it's the first elimination. And then we continue after every 5 targets, another one, until we get to the remaining 2 athletes fighting for gold who shoot additional 10 targets. Did I get that right?
You did, yep. 100% right, everything correct. Like you may have done this before.
And you have definitely done that before as well. Gone through it at the Olympics, which, congratulations. I didn't tell it to you,
Thank you very
to your
much.
face, but right now, yeah. We're going to start with the presentation for Trap Women event of the ISSF World Cup in Nicosia, Cyprus 2025.
World Cup Nicosia 2025. We are live on the ISSF YouTube channel, and we're about to meet the athletes competing in the Trap Women's event, so make lots of noise for each and every one of them.
We have China, Czechia,
qualifying
San Marino,
today in first place
Turkey,
with bib number 1 representing
USA.
AIN. The 22-year-old is in her 2nd year Cup action. It's her first
debuting
World
in a
Cup.
final of a World
Qualifying
Cup. She came 9th in Buenos Aires,
Lada
and now
Dennisovai.
it's her first final. Lada Denисова, 22-year-old, representing AIN.
With bib number 2 representing from the People's Republic of China. She's a Junior World Championship medalist, a Junior Asian Championship medalist as well, both silvers, competing in her first final at a World Cup. Give a Nicosia welcome to Han Ting.
Han Ting from China, the 23-year-old. We haven't seen her in 2024 as much, but here she is now. Beat number 2, which is a good one. Rolling with the big dogs in the first senior category.
And Junior World Cup bronze from Seoul 2023. This is her first individual final at a Senior World Cup. It's Zina Hrdlichkova.
Zina Hrdlichkova of Czechia, the 21-year-old.
With bib number 4, representing San Marino. The 4-time Olympian is the trap women's bronze medalist from Tokyo 2020. 14 World Cup medals to her name across the trap events, including silver from Nicosia in 2020. It's Alessandra Perilli.
Very well known Alessandra Perilli. Olympic medalist from Tokyo, 2-time World Cup final winner as well.
Yeah, she's the world number 8, an Olympian after competing at Paris 2024 with 4 World Cup medals, including individual bronze from Lenato 2023. Rumeysa Belenkaya.
Rumeysa Belenkaya of Turkey, the 24-year-old.
With bib number 6,
World
the United States
Cup won first time here in Nicosia 3 years ago, actually. And the mixed team.
World Cup medals, and this season she picked up her first Senior World Cup medal at the Buenos Aires World Cup. It's Kerry Garrison.
And last but definitely not least, Kerry Garrison of USA, the 20-year-old, fresh from winning silver in Buenos Aires.
Of Malta.
There's the jury in charge.
And the referee is Panikos Eleferu of Cyprus.
And the Cyprian referee in charge. The wind is really blowing everything everywhere. So this is going to be an interesting final, don't you think so, Nathan?
Yeah, the wind always makes it very interesting. It always seems to come in from the left here, which can really take the left-hand targets up and almost curl them away.
And it almost seems like it starts really strong as we start with the final as well. Here's the start list from 1 to 6. You heard Jamie Stangram really present these athletes here today, and we're going in for the first 25 targets before starting with the eliminations. How would you be feeling right now if you were over there shooting the first target?
I think for all finals, you know, the blood gets pumping. We don't often get a chance to shoot in front of a crowd and cameras, so it's only final moments you get those. So it's yeah, you always get a bit of adrenaline, a bit of nerves, and also a lot of excitement. So,
is it possible to kind of try and make this something that you do at home with your teammates or something? You can't get your heart pumping that fast, I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to replicate it.
Yeah.
We shoot obviously finals in selection matches and stuff at home. We have some other finals work and stuff we do as a team, which is always good, but it's hard to replicate, you know, the real thing without actually being there. So we always try and do as well as we can to replicate it.
We already have a couple of red ones over here from Denisova, Hrdlichkova, Kaya as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a few misses. It's pretty tough conditions with the wind, so it can always play a big part, and it pushes the right-hand targets down with the wind strong in this left and holds the left-hand targets back and sort of pushes them on edge a little bit, which can make it really tough.
Let's see Kaya now. She's right in front of us here.
Pretty good shot, pretty solid movement by her.
That was Garrison. She had 2 hits in a row. Seems to be pretty cool.
Yeah, she seems to be on form at the minute because she had obviously the World Cup medal back in Argentina, so she's found some form in the senior category.
As I like to say, she might be taking the momentum.
Yeah, we'll see.
Perilli. That's a second in a row. It's not what you wanna have right in the beginning. I'm guessing.
No, it's tough mentally. You know, going to single barrel for the finals is really tough mentally. It's obviously you spend a lot of your time shooting 2 shots, which is what qualifies you for the final. But to then look down and only see 1 cartridge in the gun and know you've only got that one can take a lot of getting used to. Obviously, Pirelli's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
been very consistent and in the top for a long time.
So do you try to not shoot the second one in qualification?
No. Yeah, I mean, your second barrel in qualification gets you to the final. Obviously, the ideal is to have as few as possible, but also you need it to back you up when you're in trouble. So.
Absolutely, but when you're training at home, I suppose you do that sometimes.
Yeah, you mix it up for sure. I shoot a lot of single barrel training at home, but also obviously you have to do the right amount of both single shot and 2 shot rounds in training. Otherwise one ends up outweighing the other, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, Alessandra actually goes really far back with Nicosia's shotgun range, and we're excited to have her here. But as a junior back in 2008, she won a European Championship bronze medal. Do you have a shotgun range that you go really way back?
I think for me, my first ISSF competition was the World Championships in Granada, I think in 2015. So I think that for me, that's one I haven't been to since the first time I went there for a world, and that was a World Championship. So that's one that I go back to.
Amazing. Let's hear what Jamie has to say after the first 5 targets. What's the standings? Oh. It's looking pretty rough, I would say.
Yeah, it is really tough. I don't think you realise how tough the wind makes it. With it holding the left-hand targets back, you sort of pull the trigger where you do everything as you should do, and you pull the trigger, and the target just doesn't quite seem to be on the end of the barrel anymore.
But for Lada Denisova, she managed to round up to 3. I have to say, from all the World Cups, this seems to be like a very, very tricky start for the ladies. But I think that the wind is kind of slowing down a bit, maybe giving them an opportunity to find their targets. And so far, so good in this second round.
Yeah, quite often the start can always be a bit tricky, and then you sort of seem to relax, settle into everything, the feeling of everything, and then you can start to build a score sometimes from there.
All right, well, things are really falling. I think people are holding on to anything they can as the wind is really blowing things out of the way, and you can imagine what happens to targets then.
Yeah, it really plays havoc with them when you've got her speakers blowing around. And
yeah, you can imagine how much of a wind there is here right now. Okay, let's see Garrison's first shot in this second round of 5. That was a nice shot.
Yeah, nice solid shot. She knew where that one was going as the wind set the microphone off just before, but that doesn't always make it easier.
Do you prefer not to know?
It doesn't bother me really. It's not something I try to learn is where they're going. Occasionally I know where one's going, but you just have to do everything exactly the same as you would do normally. It can be very tempting to maybe try creeping to the angle where you know the target's heading, but more often than not you end up missing them if that's not what you normally do.
That was a miss from Kaya. That's the second miss in this round. First one was from Denisova. Oh, that's going to be a miss from Garrison as well.
I think we're going to see a lot of changing around in scoring positions in this final with the weather that's coming in.
I think so too. We don't even know what's coming in with the weather. It might be even raining how we started here. The background's pretty good so far. What kind of shades would you wear at this point?
For me, I'd sort of wear a light pink. It's called a vermilion. I wear that most of the time. I try to keep as much light into my eyes as possible, so I always try to keep the lenses as clear as I can without squinting. But it's also very dependent, you know, on your eye colour, eye type, and you know, just personal preference.
It's going to be another miss from Garrison twice in a row now. I have to say, would this kind of a wind make you even more nervous in the final?
It can do if you let it affect you. I think you sort of have to just accept that you may miss a couple more than you would like to, but try not to let it affect you on a whole. You know, it does play a big part, but I think as much mentally as anything else.
Now we've had 4 missed targets in a row, 5 with Perilli as well. Her first gold medal at a World Cup was here in Nicosia in 2015. That was 10 years ago.
I think I was probably here at that event.
Yeah.
If I remember, yeah. Would have been one of my first senior World Cups.
And Denisova is taking a step back. You got 15 seconds on the clock, right?
12 seconds in the final.
Oh, 12 seconds in the final.
I think the referees will be, you know, a little bit lenient because the wind setting microphones off and people resetting, starting their routine again.
Yeah, you have to adapt to the situation. Hrdličková, that was a miss. Ooh, twice in a row. These scores are not something we usually see at a World Cup after 10 targets.
No, definitely
I have to
not.
say.
Definitely not, but in all fairness, it's not often we experience heavy winds. So.
Absolutely. Oh, she managed to come back after 3 missed targets. Garrison now into a hit for her 10th target. We have Han at the top, the 23-year-old from China. And then Garrison, who had 3 missed targets in a row in that last round, is second, which is not, again, something you would usually see. If you miss 3 targets in a row, you're probably going to plummet down to the bottom of the rank.
Yeah, it just shows how much, you know, just digging in and fighting can really drag you back up.
This does seem like a fight. They're fighting against the wind, and it's a battle not only with yourself or against the other athletes, but really, that was a straight target, if I'm not mistaken, and Hrdličková missed it, which usually I would assume that the straight target is one of the easier ones, or what would you say?
Yes, for sure. In theory, the hard part of a straight target is it comes out just above your gun and right in your vision. So the temptation is to move slightly earlier than normal because it appears right in your face as such. So there's so many mistakes you can make to miss a straight target. So probably the most unforgiving target if you make a mistake. So some of the angles you can make a little mistake and pick back up on the line of the target to get the kill. But a straight target, normally if you make a slight mistake, you've missed it for sure.
Back into a hit, Hrdličková. Now Han had 2 missed targets in a row. Here's Perilli. It's a hit on the left target, Kaya. That was a straight one. It seemed to go faster than I usually expected. Like the very moment when the wind settles down for a second, everything goes great for 2 or 3 or 5 targets, and then a wind is back, and it just depends on if the wind is in your way in that moment or not.
Yeah, the wind's been quite sudden today because it's been fairly still most of the day. It's been a light breeze. It's been hot, but also quite nice. So the strong breeze just before the final wasn't expected.
Even in the morning, I heard people complaining like, "Oh, there is no breeze today. It's very, very hot." And here we go to balance it out for the end of the day.
Yeah,
and for the final.
It was extremely sticky this morning. It was quite cloudy, which has been quite clear skies most of the trip. So a bit of cloud cover, just made it a bit humid.
Here we go. Some hits are being done here in the final stage. And the wind is settling down for a couple of seconds. Not too long, though, and that's a miss from Han. It just started as she was shooting. Now Hrdličkova missed hers as well. Perilli professionally hitting that target over there. Hitting the left target. Now getting some support from the audience as well.
Yeah, Kaya's climbed up in this last five from
Yeah, Garrison has managed to climb the top of the rank at this point. Han really plummeted down. But you would. Perilli, Kaya and Garrison having a better time over there than the first three.
A tough final, but people are starting to dig in and build on the scores from the first 10.
Still pretty close with the scores.
Yeah, I think it normally always is for the first 25 targets, and then you sort of start to get people pulling away and pulling away from the field.
In the first 25 targets, we go into elimination after 25, but I can imagine at some point you get a bit more relaxed, do you?
Yeah, I think you just, you get used to it, everything, you settle down a little bit, you settle into it, and all you've got to then do is try not to pay too much attention to what everyone else is doing, concentrate on yourself, and you're always competing, as though you're competing against everyone else, you're competing against yourself most of the time, because you can only beat yourself and keep shooting targets yourself, so.
Absolutely, that's what I mostly hear from the athletes. So Kaya and Garrison are at the top of the rank with 10 hits, Perilli with 9, and then we have Han and Hrdličkova with Denisova before this hit. They had 8 after 15 targets. So we go on. Let's see, Perilli managed to hit that one.
The wind's really driving those right-hand targets down and is pushing them on a bit faster as well, coming in from the left, so it's really making all the targets tricky, really.
I can imagine that the right targets are a bit heavier for the right-handed athletes, and then if it's also pushing it further away, that's the one you lose probably the most frequently.
Yeah, the right-hand targets, for a right-handed shooter, in theory, should be the more difficult one because the gun's going away from your body, away from your face. So but it's really one of those things you're used to, so it doesn't seem to affect too much. But with the wind pushing them down, it can, they're not always where you think they are when you pull the trigger.
That was a straight one, right?
I think so. I didn't quite see it properly, but it looked pretty straight from the pieces. It's quite a nasty high quartering left on here on peg 1, which is a target that will really be affected by the wind.
Another miss from Garrison. Now she's tied with Perilli. Denisova into a hit. Han has been having some trouble. Let's see how she's going to do in this one. Oh, another miss.
It's a big step making your first senior final, and it can take shooting big qualifying scores and qualifying for finals takes a lot of getting used to and learning, but to then learn how to deal with the finals and the pressure that finals bring takes some getting used to as well. Quite often it can take a while of making finals, having poor finals, or finding the situation difficult to then be able to start to manage it and really then perform in the finals.
I did see her just before the finals, and she did seem a bit stressed. She looked like she was trying to stay calm, which is kind of how you know that somebody's a bit stressed. So I can imagine, but this is her first big final, and the wind is definitely not helping her today.
No. She shot that left-hand target into the wind very nicely there. As you can see with that right-hander, they just sort of float away and bounce all the way till they hit the ground. If
nothing else, this is a very, very great training for Han, I would imagine, in many different things that you need to know about the finals.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's it's a hard lesson. It feels horrible when you're out there and you're having a hard time, and you sort of almost want the ground to open up and swallow you.
I can imagine.
And just disappear. But it's disappointing at the time, and you take away, and maybe not the same day, but a few days or a week or so after, you evaluate your performance and take the positives out of it, and then try and work on the negatives or what didn't go so well, to then improve for the next one.
Yeah, and especially, I know you guys don't like to compare, and it's you're having a battle with yourself, but if you know that you are shooting with an Olympic medalist in the finals and she's also having a lot of trouble, it's kind of like you can go a bit more easy on yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember one of my first finals, all the people that you look up to when you're a junior and stuff, all of a sudden you're shooting against them, and it's very overwhelming, and it's hard to focus on yourself when you can hear and see what they're doing.
I can imagine it's quite a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's quite surreal, but then it's also nice when you're then one of the guys stood there that are used to being in and around that environment.
All right, after 20 targets, we got Kaya in the run here at the top of the rank. Garrison following her with 13 hits. Then we have Denisova and Pirili with 12, Hrdlichkova 11, and at the bottom right now is Han Ting. Her beep number was 2, so she started off pretty high. Do you think that might have been a little bit more of a pressure, knowing that you got so high in qualification and then you want to kind of defend that position?
Yeah, for sure, it can be, but I think it's important to understand, that the finals start afresh, and you can climb up and drop down, but you've just got to stick with it and not worry about how you qualified. It all starts afresh. The competition starts again, really.
It does, but you do carry that a bit of the weight, especially when it comes to elimination, which is coming very, very soon. We are only 4 targets at this point away from the first elimination, and I would say Han Ting is definitely in the red zone, and somewhere over there in the orange zone at this point is Zina Hrdlichkova, a junior world championship bronze medalist of Lanato back in 2019.
Yeah, she's got some good teammates, 2 Olympic gold medalists in Yuri Liptak and David Kostelecki, so she has some good training and competition partners to learn from.
That's really amazing when you have a good team, and also with the mixed team events now. Trap has the mixed team event again for this Olympic cycle, so you can join forces and shoot again together.
Yeah, it's going to be great to have that this cycle for us. It's something that we watched Skeet have last year, and it's always a tough one when there's you have to split the event as such from cycle to cycle. But it's going to be good. It'd be nice to be able to potentially shoot for quotas as a mixed team as well as individuals a bit later on in the cycle.
All right, let's see. Han Ting. That was a nice shot.
That was a perfect shot on the big right hander on there.
Hrdlichkova missed this one, so she got herself in a red zone right next to Han, even more of a red zone as her beep number is 3.
It can be tough coming up to the last few targets before the elimination. You can start to think ahead to the elimination, and rather than staying in the moment, which can really hurt you.
I can imagine a heartbeat goes faster, even if you want to not think about it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of those things you just have to acknowledge. You know with the situation. You even if you wear earplugs and earmuffs, you can still hear the commentary. So there's no way of escaping where you're at.
Yeah, you can hear Jamie's voice in the background, and you're in the finals.
Yeah, for sure. And normally, like this scoreboard here is pretty big and it's right in the way, so you can't really ignore it.
Pirili into a hit after missing 2 targets in a row. Kaya. That was the right one. What happened there, do you think?
I think probably just a little bit nervous coming towards that elimination. It was a right target with the wind, so you know, pushing it on a little bit, maybe making it bounce around. Sometimes, you know, with conditions like this, you don't necessarily make a mistake when you miss. You just miss a target through, you know, the wind can take them away from you fairly quickly.
5 out of 5 for Denisova, and finished with 3 out of 5 in this round. Hrdličková managed to hit the last target, 3 out of 5 as well, just like Han. But I think that it's becoming very obvious who's going to be the one who's getting eliminated first in this final. It's always nice to have like an underdog in the final, but I can assume it's hard for them to try and stay in the final, especially with such big names shooting with them as well. But right now we have the first place of the ISSF World Cup Nicosia Cyprus 2025, and it's gonna go to Han Ting. She's gonna win the 6th place, first one to go out of the final. She is here for the first time in her big senior category final, so well, congratulations, definitely. Yeah, it's a big success.
It's an achievement. It may not be the one she was after, but it's an achievement to make your first final, and it'll for sure be a bit easier next time she gets there, for sure.
The eliminations keep on coming now after every 5 targets. These 5 are the 5th place.
And like Jamie Stangram just said, after next 5 targets, we're gonna have another elimination. So now things are starting to get a bit more tenseful, I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially if you're, you know, in pegs 3 to 5, it's quite tight there, and you know, a miss at any time could mean staying in or going out, which makes it harder when you know you can't miss too.
Yeah, and the tempo kind of changes, I always feel like.
Yeah, you can feel the tension grow between the shooters, you know, especially when you get to 1 or 2 targets to go, and you know, some people already know they're going out, some people are still fighting for the spots.
Seemed to be starting good with the first shot. Then Denisova had that one miss. Let's see, Perili. Definitely, as she's the only Olympic medalist over here today in the final, we could call her a favorite. But with this wind, and as you said, really depends.
Yeah, I mean, being the favourite as well, you know, carries a lot of pressure.
I can imagine.
When you go into a final, you see everyone all the time, so you know people's pedigree, you know roughly what they've done. So to go in as favourite can also carry its own stresses.
Hrdličková. Let's see if she's going to go back into a hit, as right now she's kind of in the red zone, to be honest.
Yes, it's going to be a tough one between Zina and Pirelli.
Garrison managed to do quite well for herself, huh?
Yeah, she pulled herself back from that first 5 or 10 targets, you know, to now being in the lead with a couple of targets in hand as well. So that's a comfortable position to be in, knowing that you're going through, even if the next couple of targets don't go quite to plan.
Perili back into a hit, but it's starting to be a bit hard to think that she might stay. I think it's going to be between Hrdličková, Perili, and Kaya, maybe, but we still have one more shot. So Hrdličková and Perili. That's the battle that we're looking at right now. Let's see if this is going to be. This is a shot for Hrdličková. Nice. That was very necessary for her in this moment, I think. Now it depends on Perili.
Yeah, these last couple of shots could play a big part in.
That's a hit. She saved herself for staying in the final for now. From Kaya. Garrison, nice. Round 5. She's at the top of the rank. Couple of targets leading Denisova.
She got a nice lead going in over 4th place for this 5 targets.
Zina Herlichkova winning the 5th place at the World Cup here in Nicosia, Cyprus 2025. That was a tough one, I can imagine. I think she did find her tempo a bit later in the final, but the first 10-15 targets were just crazy for everyone.
Yeah, normally the start is if you do damage in the first half of the final, first 25, it can be pretty hard to recover. Even if you run the rest from there, it can normally be pretty hard to recover from there. You're just sort of biding your time to stay in.
That's how it goes. Garrison is at the top, Denisova, then Kaya, and last right now is Perili. We're coming to a very, very tenseful 5 targets.
Yeah, Perili has a good 5 targets here. She could, put herself in medal contention.
Which is where you want to go after these 5.
For sure.
Do you think that when you hit 30?
Yeah, I mean it's always a nice feeling to know if you've got a medal. It can be quite a bit of a karma. It can make you relax a little bit knowing that you've got a medal, but equally you don't want to settle for a bronze. You want to try and climb up to gold or silver, depending on how the rest of your final's gone.
I can imagine you don't want to even relax too much, because then you're kind of too relaxed to shoot as well. That's at least something that I've heard from the athletes. They're like, you don't want to relax. You wanna keep the focus. You wanna keep the tension, because like you're already there. So
yeah, for sure. It's just a nice comfort, a bit of a comfort sometimes.
Denisova totaling for now at 22. Perili tying with her over there. Let's see, Kaya. Oh, that's going to be a tie between the first 3 ladies.
I think we could see the back numbers coming into play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here.
Still 2 more targets to go.
It's always around now as well. You start to hear the crowd get more excited and start to make some noise, which is always nice when you're in the final to hear the crowd making some noise and making things a bit more exciting.
Oh, Perili putting herself in a bit more dangerous situation here. Kaya joining her over there.
Sometimes when the buzzer starts and someone misses it, it can carry through all the shooters really quickly.
Yeah, I've noticed that, but Garrison stopped that immediately, hitting her target. Denisova, she's not going to be a part of the crew over here that are fighting to stay in the final.
Her coach Diego Gasparini here in front of us is getting very excited and really trying to drive her on.
It's going to be a miss from Perili, and this is an opportunity for Kaya to stay. Oh! 3 in a row. I think Perili and Kaya really were feeling that tension over here.
Yes,
they were losing targets one right after the other. And now, with the decision and the difference of the beep number, Rumeysa Pelin Kaya of Turkey winning the 4th place, unfortunately, losing a place on the podium, losing a medal. She's got 1 World Cup individual medal from Lonato in 2023, a bronze medal, 4 World Cup medals in total. This could have been her 5th one, but unfortunately, one of the athletes in the finals has to be the 4th, and this time it's going to be Kaya.
4th is always a hard one because you're so close to the medals, and it's always a bitter pill to swallow. Sometimes if you go out a bit earlier, it's a bit easier to accept, but 4th is always tough.
Yeah, because you come all that way, and then you still don't get out with the medal.
No, for sure. It's just a battle from start to finish.
Denisova continuing on. Now, the tension, I would say, has gotten a bit like everything got settled a bit more.
Yeah.
I think this is going to last for maybe the next round of 5, but then it's going to get again up with the gold and the silver.
Pearlie's had a hard time of it the last sort of 5 targets.
Yeah,
or so.
she has, yeah.
Hopefully she can get back into the next 4 targets.
I don't know. It's really looking not really good for her at this moment, I have to say. And especially not with this next.
Yeah, she's got bronze now. I don't think she can't catch Denisova.
Yeah, that's not a possibility. But even then, you want to end up on a good note, on the best note you can.
For sure.
3 hits in a row from Denisova. Let's see Perilli. She's right in front of us here on the first station.
Oh, a straight target there. Got away from her.
Ooh. Another one. I don't even think it's the nerves anymore.
No, sometimes when you get into a bit of a rut, you start doubting what you're doing. You question things. You start to take a little bit longer, and it just makes everything 10 times worse. You don't always realise you're doing it either, where you're trying to find everything again and save a couple more targets.
How did you manage those emotions winning the gold medal at the Olympics?
I sort of managed to find focus and find my rhythm, and I really drew off the crowd and the buzz of the Olympics. It really helped me focus, really got me fired up, and I just really got focused, and it really allowed me to enjoy the whole final. And when you're enjoying yourself and you're really in the moment, that's where your best performances come from, in my eyes.
That's really amazing. That's a very nice way to look at it. And well, you have facts. You have the factual medal to cover that statement. Denisova took over the lead over here, and I think we now know who the bronze medalist is from San Marino. The Olympic medalist from Tokyo, Alessandra Perilli.
Yeah, another World Cup medal to add to her name. She's got a smile on her face. She's also pulling a few faces, but I'm sure she's happy with another medal to her name.
Absolutely. She's won 4 World Cups so far, but she has many World Cup medals, and she can add this one to her career.
Yeah, Garrison had a rough last few targets. She missed the last 3 on the bounce, so they're going into the last 10 equal.
This was a good little break or a pause for the both of them. She had, three targets in a row that she missed. Maybe now coming back to the first station.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you want the break to regroup, and then other times it's the last thing you want. You just want to keep your head down and keep fighting without being interrupted, but obviously you don't have a choice in that either.
She's taking a stand. She kind of has her knees bent a bit.
Yeah, I mean, quite a lot of the Americans seem to have quite a bit more flex in their knees than most of the other nations. I think each nation has a bit of their own shooting style, which you see sort of spread out across the whole team.
What do you prefer?
I think you need a bit of balance. You need a little bit of flex in your legs to allow you to rotate left and right through your whole body. It's very important to rotate through your whole body rather than just using your arms.
And that was a nice rotation from Garrison right now.
Yeah.
A straight one for Denisova.
It's going to be tough for Garrison with the cheering of the AIN athletes. And having that pause and being told when to start as well, that can be quite tough.
Yeah, as they're walking through the rounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, now she missed the target. Denisova taking over the lead, and it seems like she's taken a momentum.
Yeah, she's really using the cheering from her fellow athletes to drive her on, I think. She seems to have really found a rhythm and being able to keep it going.
See if Garrison can match that. She's back into a hit. It is 1 hit of a difference between the two ladies. out of 5. Perfect round. Now this could be pressuring Garrison as well.
If Garrison gets this one, the last 5 targets could be pretty intense.
All right.
5 hits for Denisova, 4 for Garrison. So Denisova takes the lead in this tight trap final, but it's a slender lead, just a 1-hit difference between them with 5 targets coming up now. A reminder that if we end up in a tie-break situation, we will go to a shoot-off. But it's Denisova, 34 hits, Garrison 33, 5 targets now for the gold medal.
All right, Jamie on the field of play, pumping up the crowd for the last 5 targets.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Now things are getting interesting.
Yeah, it's a big moment for Garrison now to join the lead equal again.
Yeah, she has a chance over here now. She doesn't get swallowed by the pressure.
Oh,
and
she missed.
Ooh, that's a miss, yeah.
It's tough knowing that, you know, seeing the person shoot in front of you because they're peg 1 and 6.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough to know what you've got to follow. And
yeah, Denisova is kind of setting up the tone, which is also fair. She got into the finals with beep number 1, so fair for her to set that tone. But that's why Garrison needs to fight even stronger.
For sure, for sure. It's always hard if you go in number 1 and the final doesn't go as you plan it. You always feel quite hard done by because you feel like you've done a lot of hard work and you don't necessarily see the rewards for it.
Yeah, Denisova kept it pretty cool throughout the final, even though she had a bit of a trouble, just like everybody else in the beginning. But it seemed like quietly she made it into her own zone and found her rhythm. Now everything is kind of, I wouldn't say falling apart, but now it's very tenseful, I can imagine, and the wind has come back. So
yeah,
we have a tie over here now, and the last 2 targets.
And knowing you're coming into, you know, potentially winning your first World Cup.
Oh, absolutely.
Is
absolutely
a pretty big moment mentally to try and keep all the emotions, you know, contained.
I honestly don't know how she does it right now. Garrison, let's see if she had a break for a second. So Garrison is maybe riding the wave of winning the bronze medal. And she's shooting opposed to a debuter in the final. No, we can call her an underdog. I think she has definitely proven to be an underdog with that last hit. She has come right up to the top of the rank, and the coach is really, really happy about this, I think.
Yeah, Diego's quite an emotional man when his athletes are doing well, so he's celebrating, he's very happy. And
that's going to be a gold medal for Lada Denisova, representing AIN, the 22-year-old who is debuting at a final here at the World Cup. She was 9th in Buenos Aires and came here now to end up on the top of the podium. Really an exciting final that we just saw. It was exciting right up until the end and the last few targets. We cannot forget about Carrie Garrison of USA. Back-to-back silver medal. Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, back-to-back medals, back-to-back finals is always something to be proud of. It shows you've got consistency and you're up there with the best of the shooters, and you're able to do it more than once. So you can always be happy.
Alessandra Perilli winning the bronze. We have Carrie Garrison winning the silver medal. And at the top of the podium today in the ISSF World Cup at Nicosia, Cyprus 2025 for shotgun trap women event. It's the gold medal for Lada Denisova.
AIN goes to Lada Denisova.
She didn't seem to have a very big smile there, considering she just won a World Cup.
Yeah, I think she's still overwhelmed from everything that has happened.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big moment.
It is a very big moment. All right, stay with us, everybody. We're going to go to Jamie Stangram as he's going to have a chat with the athletes in the interviews. But Nathan, it has been such an honor having you here as my co-commentator. I can't thank you enough for giving everything that you gave into this final and explaining some of the things in more detail than we usually get to find. So thank you once again. I hope to have you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's different. I found it a bit easier speaking than I thought. So.
I loved you. I think that.
Kerry, congratulations, your second final of this 2025 season, your second medal, silver again. How are you feeling?
So excited and so grateful. This morning I didn't even think I was going to make the final, so it was a blessing to even come in 6 bib, and just to be at second, I'm so grateful, so just super excited.
You had a lead, and then in the final 10 targets you were tied with Denisova of AIN. What was going through your mind in that essentially tie-break situation for the gold?
I was honestly just trying to keep it together. I think I ran like 15, and I felt so good, and I was just trying to keep it going. Just had some misses. It's tough conditions right now, so I did as best as I could, and that's all I can hope for.
You mentioned the tough conditions. I think you're specifically referring to the wind, which was pretty calm, and then as soon as the final began, it went crazy.
Yeah, it definitely did. I feel like it had not been windy the whole match, and then just right when we walked up there, it decided to be, so it was super windy. Just trying to keep my gun and everything still, but it was fun. It added just another factor that was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, once again, another medal in this 2025 World Cup season. Enjoy it, Kerry. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. open your account for the new season.
Ti saluta e ti chiede com'è che si sente iniziare la nuova stagione in questo modo dopo aver concluso la stagione passata vincendo.
Diciamo che non sono molto contenta della finale, però la medaglia va sempre bene, quindi ok, pensiamo alle prossime.
She's not so happy about the final, but she wants to think about the future and a medal is good.
It was a very tough final. You had to work really hard for that bronze. Talk us through the conditions with the wind. It was pretty crazy.
Ho capito. Sì, le condizioni erano veramente, avevo proprio difficoltà, non riuscivo a vedere l'uscita e quindi avevo proprio difficoltà. Non ce l'ho fatta, però va bene, dai.
She was in difficult about the vision of target, and she tried, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And Alessandra, you ended up translating the translator in the end there, which was new. Thank you very much. Enjoy the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Bye.
No.